Hi, my name is SBJ and welcome back to Emperor's Path. Today we're going to be talking about the June layout update. If you're new here, then welcome. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about the loft layout, and we're going to be talking about what's been going on with it since the May update. So if you haven't already watched the May update, you can view it somewhere up here, and basically in that update I talk about how I'm going to be taking out some of the curves at the main ends of the layout. So if we start playing some of the videos, what I've actually done, as the last video dictated, is I've taken out the curve that runs from platform 3 round to the old canal. Now this means that I can't necessarily run trains past other trains, but I'm okay with that at the moment. If it comes to it, I can always go back and sort that out. I've also taken out the curve that goes through the yard as well. I found that trains were struggling to get round that, and it was a bit of a problem. So what I did was I basically took the curves out of there and put an additional bit of straight on there, and eventually I'll put some buffers on there as well. What that means is I can have a terminus or a terminating platform for some of the mainline locos that'll be running, whether it's multiple units, DMUs, EMUs and things like that. Eventually I'd love to be able to get a 4-car EMU that resembles the ones that I remember from my childhood. I have a Bachmann 4TC, but that is a non-motorised version, so I do want to get myself something that is a motorised version of it, and it is a case of saving up the pennies for it. So what this means is I've put a buffer stop on platform 3, and I've also extended the siding that is at the top left of the yard. This is big enough to be able to fit a class 50 in there, as that is the largest loco that I own, so that the class 50 can run to the end of the siding and go via the points in whichever way it wishes. So if it brings in some sort of freight or some carriages, because there is a platform there, it will allow me to be able to stop the train. The class 50 uncouples from there, and it can go off and sort itself out in the sidings and go and just sit and chill. I've also extended the Royal Mail platform, and the reason for that is I wanted to just be able to fit a class 8 as well as maybe a little bit of carriage there, and I might continue the platform down a little bit. I had a little trial session where I just tried out using the shunting aspect of what this yard bit was meant to be and what it hasn't been yet. There was a second radius curve that used to go from the end of this, what is now the straight part of the siding, and it meant that locos would go up and immediately go around the second radius curve, and sometimes, in fact most of the time, even though it's a second radius curve, a lot of my locos would derail on that point, and it made me not want to shunt. So what I'm really hoping is that with this little head shunt bit, I'll be able to put locos in there now. They won't derail and I can sort of go off. And when I first did this, I tried it with my class 50 Arc Royal, and it worked just fine. I put some drop wires on the end of the sidings, and hopefully I'll have a little bit of fun further down the line. With that, this now meant that this particular area was ready for some ballast. I hate ballasting, I really do. I love how it looks when it's done and it's weathered, but the actual process for me, I don't find it fun. It is a necessary evil for me. So I've ballasted this area bar the points, and I think it looks really good. I need to weather it, but time is one of the big things. And also, where we're in the summer months, the loft is a little bit too warm most of the time for me. It's great for the glue drying because it meant that I was able to go up there very early one morning, quickly ballast a section and put the glue down, and by the next morning it was dry. Whereas when I originally ballasted most of the layout, it took 4 or 5 days for it to dry. So there are some benefits to going up in this ridiculous heat. So that means that this particular yard section is really coming along, and I'm happy with how it looks. There's basically 2 sidings, 3 if you include the one that goes up to the platform. The 2 sidings are there to either store some sort of freight or wagons or coaches or anything like that if I so wish, but mainly it's there for storing locos so that I can bring locos in and out, or I can perform shunting manoeuvres. And then the third siding, which is the one that is the closest to the front of the layout, is mainly so I have a Royal Mail train, if you've not seen it before. It's one of my favourites. It's a very old set of coaches, but I love it. And I know it's not accurate, and I know that the coaches are old, but I really, really love it. It's just such a nice little set because it reminds me of my childhood. I've upgraded the original Hornby Intercity loco to a Bachmann Intercity loco, and it's great, really, really nice. So the main idea is that the Intercity loco comes in, or any loco really, comes into that siding, stops. I've got some magnets underneath the track. If you haven't already, you can view in this little card up here, somewhere up here, there's a card where I talk about how I quickly made these magnets, and they're very easy to do. The idea is that because I've got KD couplers on pretty much all my locos, it goes over a particular section, uncouples, the loco can then go off towards the head shunt at the top of the yard, and then the Class 8 that is at the end of the Royal Mail platform, well, I keep calling it the Royal Mail platform, is able to come along, pull the coaches in, and they can do all of the sorting. So then, as we go round to the other part of this curve, that obviously I've taken the curve out, so that must mean that there was something on the other end. So after some fantastic ideas from viewers, thank you very much if you did leave a comment. I particularly had a really good comment from Rich Hopkins, and I also had a really good comment from James at Western Signalman, who, if you haven't already, go check out his channel. He's doing a fantastic 009 build at the moment, plus we both have a love of the Royal Mail train, so thank you, James. After sort of thinking about it, what I basically did is I created it so that there are sidings now in those two routes. Now, back when the layout was first built, I had it so that the two lines went all the way down into the fiddle yard, and I took those out because the curves were a little bit too aggressive, and basically I put buffer stops in just before the beginning of the before it went off scene into the fiddle yard. They're still there, but what I eventually plan to do is to take those buffers off and continue the lines just past the fiddle yard to almost give the illusion that whatever's in the sidings can actually go up there. Now the reason for that is because the way the points were installed, it means that physically, with the buffer stops in, you wouldn't be able to get the amount of wagons that would be sitting in there, because that's basically what they're going to be. They're going to be wagon storage sidings, or possibly locos. If it's for locos, it's fine, but if it's wagon storage sidings, you'd look at it and go, well, how did you get that many wagons in there, like, without being really silly? So the idea is to continue that through into the fiddle yard just off, so that you can at least have the wagons poking out of the fiddle yard with the illusion that they go on for a little bit more. But at the top end of it, where the curve connects to it, I've basically made it so, once again, everything is based on my largest loco, which is my Class 50s. So it's big enough that a Class 50 can go into those sidings and go into the other bits. Once again, it's an area where I don't plan to use it a lot, but because I've already installed the points there, I didn't want to remove them completely in the end. And if I do decide to do anything else with it later down the line, like put the curves back in, I can do, that's not a problem. But there are head shunts in there that allow a loco to go in, so that I can legitimately at least put locos in there. So it's not the kind of place where I'd expect to store locos, but if I decide to make a shed further down the line, I can. So previously these areas weren't fully ballasted, so I've got them all ballasted up really, and once again they need a little bit of weathering further down the line, but basically because the curves used to go around, that was going to be hidden by a bridge. But the way that the sidings now are, they're kind of a little bit too close together at a right angle, so I need to work out some sort of clever way of hiding it, whether it is just by covering it with the original bridge idea that was going to go across that corner anyway. So I need to tidy these areas up eventually, but that's something that I can put off for a little bit of time, maybe wait until it's a little bit cooler up in the loft. But yeah, the changes are done, as you can see in the videos, and the weathering is obviously the next part that needs to be done. I also really need to ballast the points. I've just been too scared to do it, to be honest. But all of the points around my layout I need to start ballasting as well. I also need to tidy up ballast in certain areas. There's bits where the glue didn't go where I wanted it to, although I thought it did. So all of these bits need tidying up as well. Once that is done, it is probably a case of trying to finish that canal area's sort of scenic bits. There's just a few little bits that need doing. I need to put some graffiti and some detritus all round the sidings and up there, because the one in real life is filthy, the one in Fratton. So that's something that I need to work on. Moving forward with parts of the loft layout, obviously this is a very long-term project. Actually, as I'm filming this, the layout has actually hit 1 year since I initially started building in the loft, and yeah, it's a great achievement. And with that, I'm going to put some videos in here. So close. Oh, 1 year. 1 year on. And how much it's changed. And if you watch the original video, you'll see I was against doing DCC in there. That's this month's update video. Hopefully in the next month there'll be a little bit more that we can do, and if not, we will hold on until there's more that we can talk about. I need to crack on with the weathering, really. If there's anything that you've seen in this video that you like or that you want to talk about in the comments below, I'm happy to have a chat. If you have any advice for me moving forward with the layout, or there's something that you want me to start working on, then let me know, because if there's something that people want to see me finish or want me to get on with earlier, if you leave it in the comments, I'll start working on it. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Click the little bell icon if you want to hear about all of the videos that come out. If you haven't, please like this video as well, and leave a comment down below if there's something on your mind. Thank you very much. I've been SBJ, and I'll see you guys again soon.